Friends, on this I can say from today, as we know that on general geography in which some fundamental concepts I will discuss today. First, fundamental concepts, general geography, then I will go for this in detail as per the plan. Friends, as we all were well aware about the question trend of the preliminary exam, one thing, the questions are seldom, very less likely you will get direct. Mostly thought provoking questions are there. The map based question is more concept and application from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. What are the major forest type we will came across in a sequential way from north to south? Now, in this, if you don't know the map study, if you don't know the location of Kashmir, location of Kanyakumari and the type of vegetation, where, what type of vegetation, you will not able to appreciate it, you will not able to do it. You don't have to mug it up, but you should know the concept. So, we need to look at in this particular perspective that the concept you should have aligned with the concept and you should need to go for the application. Fine, let us look at one more in general geography. General geography, I will say locating a place that is latitude and longitude, locating a place that is about latitude and longitude. I will discuss about this one first, locating a place. As my friends, all of us were well aware, this is the globe. Globe is the three-dimensional representation of the earth or part of it to the scale. Now, likewise, you have a map. Map is a two-dimensional representation of the earth. Any place over the earth surface can be located 100% accurately with the help of two things, latitude and longitude. And I hope all of you are well aware. So, one important point I would like to say first is globe, it is the three-dimensional representation of the earth to the scale. Okay, as we know, as I have mentioned about to the scale, so it is proportionately you are preparing the globe, radius of the earth based on this, what should be the radius of the globe, proportionately you will go for this. This is the model of the earth, it is the model of the earth, it is the model of the earth. Friends, we will look at this is the globe here, and in this globe there are, if you look at here, this is the equator. I am not going in detail of this, I am just saying this is the equator at the middle. If you will take, divide into two equal parts, the plane which divides will pass through the center of the earth. The northern part is northern hemisphere, southern part southern hemisphere. So, in the northern hemisphere, if you look at this globe carefully, you see northern and southern hemisphere has more water bodies, northern hemisphere has more continental part. Southern hemisphere is known as water hemisphere, northern hemisphere is called as land hemisphere, right? Now, if this is the earth here and I have taken a This is the plane which is dividing into two parts. I said this is northern hemisphere, this is southern hemisphere. The plane which divides it into two equal parts is the equatorial plane. And this equatorial plane is passing through the center of the earth center, forming a 0 degree latitudinal angle. How it is 0 degree latitudinal angle? From here you see this is, okay, this is forming 0 degree, 10, 20, 30, likewise here up to I will go 90 degree from this side. From this side I am going up to 90 degree. From this side also I can say like 10, 20, 30 up to 90 degree. 90 degree here, isn't it? So, this is here is this part, this is the angle here from the center of the earth toward this side. Here it is 90 degree north, 90 degree north here, it is a north pole. Latitude is the angular distance from the center of the earth. ये जो हमने whatever I have just cut the earth into two parts, I said the plane which divides earth into two parts is known as the equatorial plane, my friends. If I will cut this earth into two parts, okay, the plane which divides it into two equal halves here, it will necessarily pass through the center of the earth. And the northern part is the northern hemisphere, southern part southern hemisphere, I said. Now, if I will take an angle here, मैं एक angle लेता हूँ, here I have taken an angle here. And this angle I have taken, let us say it is 10 degree angle, 10 degree. Now, I will rotate the earth. I have taken 10 degree angle and rotating the earth like this. I will get an angle from the earth interior, it will touch here. Now, I will rotate this, I will get these points here, one by one points like this. I will join these points, I will find out a line like this. This line is having, you can see this, I will get this type of points here, all these points. While I will take it from the center of the earth, imagine the case, from the center of the earth I have taken a angle here of 10 degree, it will touch here. And now I will rotate this globe, I will find all these lines here like these points. So now I will join this with this one, here also I will take an angle, this angle will be 10 degree. This is the 10 degree north of the equatorial plane. So it is the 10 degree north latitude. This will be 10 degree north latitude. ये जो है आपका 10 degree north latitude हुआ. This is the 10 degree north latitude. And likewise, if I draw these angles like this up to 45, 60, 90 degree, and here from 0 to 10, 20, 30, 40 up to 90 degree, I will have this type of angles here. So, what I am saying is, in a globe, we can show all these latitudes with this, and we can place any location can be done with the help of this. So, first you can see here, as I have just mentioned, globe is the model of the earth, true representation of the earth. And in a globe we have latitude and longitude. What is a latitude here? Latitude क्या है? Latitude, what is this latitude? Latitude, note down here, angular distance from the center of the earth, towards north or south of the equatorial plane, okay. Angular distance from the center of the earth towards north or south of the equatorial plane is latitude. 0 degree latitude is equal to equator, and maximum is 90 degree north or 90 degree south latitude is called as poles. Now, we have a question earlier, how many latitude we can draw? Infinite number of latitude we can draw. The length of the latitude decreases from the equator towards the poles. You can see these things like, as I have just mentioned, latitude are angular distance from the center of the earth towards north or south of the equatorial plane, I said latitude. So, if I will say about this latitude images, if I will draw this, let us say this one here, latitude and longitude. We can look at, in this case, we can see from the earth, center of the earth, this is like, these are the line which are there is latitude, they are called as the latitude, which is dividing the earth into different segment, as you know, from the center of the earth. So angular distance, which I said about angular distance from the center of the earth, I hope you got it, that from the center of the earth towards periphery, if you will go, you will have an angle here. This type, here you have an angle, and the same angular value is, it is here. Let us say this angular value is here, this is 30 degree, this one also 30 degree. So all the line or the points joining all these two, it is 30 degree north latitude. Okay. Likewise, maximum, this is 90 degree north latitude. Have you got these things? Is it clear to you? Or anywhere you have any problem, please. First I am going for latitude, gradually we will enter into other topics. First we will go for the latitude. What is latitude? Latitude is the angular distance from the center of the earth towards north or south of the equatorial plane. Towards north or south. Ye north way I have taken it in the north. Now I can go for like in the south of this. 45 degree, 45 degree. This is 45 degree south of the equatorial plane, let us say. So this is 45 degree south of the equatorial plane, 45 degree south of the equatorial plane. I am again saying angular distance from the center of the earth towards north or south of the equatorial plane. Now how many latitude we can draw? We can draw infinite number of latitude, and if it is 1 degree interval, then it will be limited, no doubt. But there is no degree interval, but when you can have infinite number of latitude. Look at here, in these latitudes, I can say one more point here. The length of the latitude, the length of the latitudes decreases from the equator to the poles. From the equator to the poles, the length of the latitude decreases here. Okay. Equator is the longest latitude and is a great circle. Great circle. You can see here, if this is the latitude here, you can see this is the 0 degree latitude, equator. Equator is the greatest possible circle here, it is a great circle. Length of the latitude gradually decreases and finally pole is a point. This side also equator, all these are, this is the equator here, longest, I can say this is the circumference of the earth with this almost equalities. So length of the equator is equator is the longest at latitude, and it is a great circle. Okay. Poles are points. North and south poles are points. Poles are points, and rest all latitudes are small circle. Small circles. Rest all latitudes are small circles. Okay. Length of the latitude decreases from the equator to the poles. Equator is the longest latitude and the great circle, it is a great circle, poles are points, and rest all latitudes are small circle. This is what I said. I hope these points you appreciate. There was a question long back, in fact there was a question on this latitude and longitude regarding their spacing, their characteristics also. Now, though the number of question is very less, but we need to see some fundamental things, that is why I am dealing. By the way, the latitudes are helpful for what? The latitudes are helpful for climatic division. Latitudes are helpful for climatic division. Okay. Latitudes are helpful for climatic division. Climatic division. We know if this is 0° latitude here at the equator, this is 30°. Zero degree, 23.5° north, 23.5° south. This is here is 66.5° north, 66.5° south. This is 90° north and this is 90° south. So, this region is, in this case, this is the low latitude region, Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn, Arctic Circle, Antarctic Circle. This is North Pole and this one is the South Pole. As all of us were well aware about this, this is the tropical region. This is the tropical region. This one here, it is the temperate zone. Temperate zone. This is also temperate zone. Then beyond this you have the polar zone. Polar zone. My friends, you remember one thing, that when you will go away from the equator towards the poles, temperature decreases. So, here it is hot, warm, cool, cold. Hot, warm, cool and cold. So, the moment you will go away from the equator, temperature will decrease. So, these are climatic division in which is more helpful. I am saying the latitudes are more useful for climatic division rather than any other things. Of course, for location it is playing a very important role, but also for climatic division. The latitudes are more helpful for climatic classification. Friends, as I have just said about these two, 0° that is the equator, this is the equator here. From the equator towards north or south, northern hemisphere or southern hemisphere, the characteristic features of both will be different because unequal distribution of continent and the ocean. More water is there in southern hemisphere, more continent in northern hemisphere. Their behavior will be different, their characteristics will be different, their overall geoecological condition will be different. We will discuss about all those things gradually. So, as I have just mentioned about these two, as I said about the latitudes, these very basic, two basic things. Latitudes are parallel to each other. Why? All latitudes are parallel to each other. Why? Latitudes are always parallel to each other. Parallel to each other. Why? Can anyone tell me why latitudes are parallel to each other? It is because the latitude as such, as I said, is drawn with the help of angular distance from a common point, because latitude are drawn because it represent angular distance from a common center. Common center. If you are taking angular distance from common center, definitely it will have like the angle will be, because of that we will have like same, they will be parallel. देखो यहाँ पे because they are from common center, so these are parallel, they will be parallel to each other always. Okay, I hope you got it.